Good day, I'm Stuart and I'm the author of Extreme Nouns, Ingredients for Advertising Ideas. The book came about after I did a course in creative idea development called Award School, and every week we'd go to lectures and we'd see really good ideas and get shown bad ideas, but no one really explained how these people came up with their ideas. Apart from the fact that they found a great truth about the product, maybe a great tagline, and then they sort of expanded from there. And I think that's the basic gist of it. You find something you want to say about the product that's going to hit a nerve with someone, and then you go on to expand on that with some sort of execution. Whether it's an analogy or showing someone literally how it's done. But in every advert, I think you've got to have some visual references that people understand. Visual references would be nouns. So the reason I've called the book Extreme Nouns is because I believe that you're always dealing with extremes in advertising. You're always trying to say, my product is the biggest, it's the longest, it's the strongest. So I think, the book is categorized with these things, like all these extremes, and then within the extreme, you've got your ingredients, which is the nouns. I had a copywriter say to me, "Oh, shouldn't it be extreme adjectives?" I said, "No, it's the adjectives are the categories, but the nouns are the ingredients." So I thought, it's a catchy phrase that I can use to describe the product. The way you'd use the book is if you were advertising, you've got the fastest car, for example. You'd first of all go, all right, well, what's an emotional truth about that? Fastest car, apart from being able to, drag off someone illegally, the actual real emotional truth is that it's probably safer. You'll be able to get out of situations, a lot faster, and so maybe you could say a safer ride is the actual emotional truth. That could be the tagline. Okay, so in the book you'd maybe look up safest. Safest would be a category. You could also look up fastest. So you've got a couple of starting points there. Under each of these categories, you'd find maybe 50, 100 nouns to build up your idea and to start brainstorming different executions of your idea. So under fastest, you'd have jet plane, you'd have a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I'm proving my point here. I can't think of things off the top of my head because that's not how the brain works. Things come to you over time. They come, unless you write them down, you lose them within a couple of seconds. So the idea of the book is to have all these things written down for you, and they're right there. You can look at them, look at the list of 100 different nouns, and say, oh, I don't like most of them, but 10 of them are really interesting. I could work with these 10 ideas. Most of them are really obvious, but I like those really bizarre ones that you thought of there. Now, the bizarre ones took me like a year or two to sort of discover. Like I'd just be walking down the street and I'd think, oh, geez, that'd be a great noun for that category. So I'd write it down, and then next week it would be in the book. So this is sort of how I've come up with all these nouns. I've written down the really obvious ones at the beginning of each category, and then through 1 or 2 years of research and feedback from other people, I've come up with these more sort of like obscure ones that are sort of, I guess, a little bit more original. So I guess the average person is going to jump to the back of the book and go, yeah, I think I'd rather use that one. Okay, yeah, one of my better ideas in Award School was one for Glad garbage bags, and the idea was that nothing could escape these garbage bags. That was my tagline that I came up with. I think let's have a look. The single-minded proposition was extra strong. So yeah, the idea was, okay, that we have to think of something that's going to relate to that. So nothing escapes, and then Glad as the logo on the bottom. So in the case of extreme nouns, the way I came up with this idea is I wrote down a whole bunch of things relating to catch and escape. and one of those things was Houdini. So Houdini, yeah, I could use that in a print advert. So the idea, as you'll see in example 1 on the website, is Houdini hasn't got out this time. He's actually in a graveyard, and he's died in that bag because he just couldn't get out of it. So that's a good example of how one noun has triggered an idea for glad garbage bags. Okay, another idea, I think it's on, it's about the 5th or 6th example on the webpage, is an advert for Wonder Bread. Now, this is not my idea. I'm not going to claim this one. This is by a really good copywriter that works in my agency called Richard Morgan, and he won a gold at Cannes for this advert, and he's kindly let me use it in the book. And basically, the advert is saying that this bread is really good for kids because it gives them heaps of energy, but not so good for ducks. So he's come up with this link that he could relate ducks to bread, which is not that far fetched. Like, people have related ducks to bread for a long time, but he's made this link and executed it in a clever way, showing that don't feed the ducks this bread because they're just going to go hyper. They're going to do stupid things. But fair enough. If you want to feed it to your kids, that's good. So yeah. So if you want to win a goal at Cannes, extreme nouns.